Thanks for staying and welcome back. Now, the total revenue for Ecobank Ghana has fallen by 7% to 1.1 billion cedis. Board chairman of the bank, Terence Darkon, who disclosed this at the annual general meeting of the bank, attributed the dip to declining interest rates, increased government borrowings, and refinancing of maturing short-term debts.
With a total CAR of 13.76%, which is above the regulatory threshold of 10%. Going forward, we expect a boost in business confidence as the declining interest rate regime translates into lower costs of production and increased productivity for our clients. The reduced cost of doing business should in turn lead to enhanced business opportunities to both our clients and the bank. We are confident that further gains can be made by way of increased efficiencies as your management team continues to work hard to diversify and improve its revenue streams. Dividend. The board recognizes the importance of dividends to our shareholders and is committed to paying the maximum sustainable dividends. However, as is further explained in the managing director's statement, we propose to capitalize our income surplus into stated capital to enable us meet the new minimum capital requirements for banks of 400 million cedis, as set by the Bank of Ghana. As a result, we are unable to pay cash dividend for the year 2017. We will, however, be issuing bonus shares of 1 share for every 10 held, which in addition to the capital gains made on our stocks of 53% as at February 2018 is a big boost to our shareholders. The board, working closely with the executive management team, is confident that the strategy currently being implemented will underpin the long-term growth of your company and should lead to the resumption of cash dividend payment in the very near future. Board changes. Mr. Thomas Awagu resigned from the board in May 2017 after 6 years of invaluable service to Ecobank Ghana. We thank him for his contribution. We also appointed Mr. Henry Dodo Amo, Dr. Ohene Kwapong, and Dr. John Ofritin Krang as non-executive directors during the year.
Still staying within the banking sector, Managing Director of Barclays Bank Ghana, Patience Achanu, has decided to pursue other interests outside the banking sector. Mrs. Achanu joined Barclays in 2008 as Finance Director and was appointed Managing Director in 2013. A statement released says she will continue to serve as MD for the bank until September 30, when her successor would be found.
As Managing Director, Mrs. Achanu has built a high-performing and diverse leadership team which has led to Barclays Bank Ghana being the most profitable bank. Her passion for excellent customer service has translated into greater customer and innovation focus across the bank. In addition, the marked progress seen on her watch has led to employee engagement being at its highest in recent times. In a statement, she said, quote, "It's been an amazing journey, spending more than half of my years in banking with this highly talented and motivated bank. It is a team that is more than capable of delivering the bold new strategy that will build the bank that Africa will indeed be proud of." The Barclays Africa Group leadership and the board of Barclays Bank Ghana expressed their appreciation to Mrs. Achanu for her leadership and immense contribution to the remarkable performance of the bank during her 10-year tenure. Board Chairman Charles Kofi said her contribution to the business has been outstanding, and although she would not be around to oversee the new strategy, she has been an instrumental part of its development. Quote, "We have a clear transition plan in place and a strong management team supported by the board and great employees capable of delivering the exciting Pan-African bank that Ghana and the entire continent will be proud of." He added that the bank is committed to delivering this bold new Africa strategy to help bring the possibilities of their customers, clients, stakeholders and communities to life. Mrs. Achanu joined Barclays Bank Ghana in 2008 as Finance Director and was appointed Managing Director in 2013.
Let's now turn our attention now to the downstream petroleum sector, where the Ministry of Energy has defended its position to turn the Tema oil refinery into a tank farm. A statement by the Deputy Energy Minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, expressed surprise at how CEO of TOR, Isaac Osei, has handled the issue. There's more in this report.
When the Energy Minister, Boakye Jako, first disclosed the plan to scrap the Tema oil refinery and turn it into a tank farm for the sole purpose of storing fuel, he got criticized publicly by one of his colleagues. The chief executive of TOR and a senior member of the governing party, Isaac Osei, was vehement in his rejection of the plan.
I didn't come to TOR to preside over its demise. I've not come here to run this company in order that we end up by scrapping it. And these are national assets. And as national assets, we should protect them. I don't think that the conversion into a tank farm is the way forward. I don't even know whether it is government policy.
He in fact warned any attempt to force through the plan to scrap TOR will cause financial loss to the state.
We've spent a lot of money rehabilitating the plant. We cannot, going forward, be accused of spending money and then scrapping TOR.
Well, there has since been a sharp rebuttal from the Energy Ministry. Deputy Energy Minister Mohammed Amin Adam, in a statement to Joy News, noted that the ministry is surprised about the turn of events at TOR. He says, quote, "This is not the first time the minister publicly discussed this. If TOR has issues with the proposal, the response should not be a protest by the CEO and staff. The CEO has access to the minister and he can submit a counter proposal on this. This is how serious business should be conducted," end quote. He explained that the ministry had already discussed the plan with both the board chair and the CEO. He says there's a proposal to revamp TOR, and to do this, the ministry has proposed to support TOR to build a new refinery with a capacity to refine about 150,000 barrels of crude per day. He argues that the current capacity of 45,000 barrels is simply not enough. He says the new refinery needs storage, and government could leverage the storage TOR already has. The ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament, Adam Mutawakilu, rejects the explanation.
This announcement by the minister at OTC is quite a surprise to us, because as a committee, I'm aware another refinery is coming, but turning TOR to a tank farm is something that we won't resist. We'll resist it.
The Energy Ministry's decision to scrap TOR and turn it into a storage facility comes at a time when TOR had invested heavily to revamp its operations. The refinery will this weekend, for the first time in a while, commence full operations. What will happen to staff if government carries out its plan? There are a lot more questions that will require some answers.
Well, meanwhile, the management and board of the Tema oil refinery has denied assertion by the Deputy Minister of Petroleum, Dr. Mohammed Adam, that the ministry has discussed its proposal to scrap the Tema oil refinery and turn it into a tank farm. A statement issued and signed by the Public Affairs Manager, Dr. Kingsley Ntwibwesiako, in reaction to Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam's assertion that the board and management of TOR were aware of the said proposal, mentioned that the board, management and workers of TOR will never agree to any such proposal which seeks to turn TOR into a tank farm. All right, so this is an interesting development, and we would like to stay on further. We want to get the views of energy expert who is also the executive secretary or executive director of KITE, Ishmael Ejekumhene, to get some thought from him. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the marketplace. Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
All right, so you've been following this development back and forth. I remember the first time this issue came up here, we sought the views of the ministry, and the communication directorate of the ministry, denied any conversion of this particular state installation into a tank farm. And the communication minister rather clarified what the Minister of Energy sought to or meant by that decision. But currently, it looks like he has said it nowhere else than on an international platform, the Offshore Technology Conference in the United States of America, where he was meeting investors who would want to invest in the downstream sector. Now, what's your personal opinion about this development?
Well, personally, I am a little bit indifferent here. I have sympathies, or I have some sympathy for Tor, but over the years, Tor hasn't managed to convince all of us that they are prepared to do business. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I would like to say is that personally, I think it's if the policy has been made, the policy decision has been taken at the cabinet level, then it's up to the ministry to convince all stakeholders to come on board. And they need to convince and show entities like Tor why it is in the best interest of this nation to rather have a bigger refinery and convert. And because of the bigger refinery, you need a tank farm to be able to store the product before they are exported or they are sold to the domestic market. That decision, I believe, lies ultimately with the government of the day, but they have to do it in consultation with the people, all key stakeholders, so that we avoid this kind of banter going on in public with the Tor saying that they don't know about it and the workers saying that they don't know about it. If it's a policy that they intend implementing, then they have to engage all stakeholders properly, so that this kind of public disagreement it's avoided.
Now, should establishment of a new refinery necessarily result in the old one, being converted into a tank farm, especially when, recently the company had spent so much money into maintaining the facility to revamp it? Should it necessarily be turned into a tank farm, whereas the new facility itself would come with a tank farm or a storage facility?
Well, if I heard the minister well, the first time he announced this policy or this intention to build a new refinery, he said they plan to build this new refinery next to the current Tor facility. And I'm not too sure they do have enough land there to construct this tank farm. But whether or not it must necessarily lead to the scrapping of the existing one, I would say no, depending on the location and depending on what they plan doing with this larger refinery. That's if they do have space for storage and all that, then why not? They don't need to scrap that. But if ultimately this is going to process all the crude or our daily petroleum, there are requirements as a nation where we need to do close to about 100,000 barrels or 120,000 barrels a day, then you want to ask yourself, in terms of the two, which one will be more efficient to be run? So at the end of the day, it becomes a question of economics, as well as other considerations, whether if we were to, as a national asset, we want to keep Tor, or this new one will be serving the same role. But it doesn't necessarily have to mean that the existing Tor will have to be scrapped. But then it's the same market they're going to be servicing, and you wonder which one will be more efficient than the other. But building a new refinery, depending on the location, doesn't mean that the existing one should be scrapped.
All right, so what should happen to the workers of Tor, looking at the fact that the Tor, has so many workers, especially engineers, who are very, 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 very keen at working there and, of course, transferring their skills elsewhere? What should happen to the workers?
Well, every worker who is currently at Tor, I don't see the reason why they should build a new refinery. They can't, or they shouldn't be employed as existing labor for workforce in Tor, because they are very, very experienced. So I don't see the building of a new refinery creating any redundancies in the system, because they will need to, if it's a bigger refinery, they need to employ all of them as well as additional staff. But I mean, at the moment, I'm not too sure that even the workers of Tor, they are doing anything. For a very long time, this refinery hasn't been working. We are paying them. But it doesn't, I can't see a scenario where we are going to build a bigger refinery And if it's necessary, according to the economics, that the current one should go away, I don't see why anybody should be rendered jobless, because it's going to be a larger capacity refinery and they should have enough room for everybody and also recruit more people. But again, I don't think this is something that we should just spend time discussing. There has to be, if the government's policy is that they want to build a bigger refinery next to the current toll, they need to convince all stakeholders as to why it makes sense for us to have a new refinery and have the existing one taken out of business. If that justification has to be solid, it has to be backed by full feasibility study, and everybody should be happy, and we don't have to spend time discussing whether or not toll should exist or not. We all know for so many years, regardless of all the efforts that the management of toll, whether the current one or the previous ones they put in place, we've never succeeded in keeping the refinery running. Toll is constantly indebted to various suppliers, including suppliers of crude and all that. If the current renovation and every refurbishment going on there is supposed to allow the plant to run for a given number of years, then it will be a complete waste of our money to just refurbish or revamp it, only for it to be turned into a tank farm. But the record and the history hasn't shown that even after all the refurbishment, the plant is going to run. If it's going to run, then we would have wasted money doing that, unless we can convince everybody that whatever profits we're going to make from this new refinery when built is going to offset whatever monies we're going to lose in terms of the loans they've contracted. But let's face this fact. Any new refinery is not going to happen anytime soon. So I don't see why immediately anybody should think of scrapping toll, because they haven't even gotten the investors to come in. And as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be a PPP. And you need to get investors in place before you can think of even moving to the next phase of a project.
Yeah, but I think that even if it's going to take a long while, workers should be concerned.
It's going to take a long while.
Workers should be concerned of what is going to happen to them eventually anyway. All right. Many thanks for your time, Ishmael Jukumini. He is the Executive Director of KITE and also an energy expert. He's been sharing his thoughts on the current situation where the Ministry of Energy is defending its position to convert the existing Tema oil refinery into a tank farm when a new refinery is established just around the same area of the existing one. Moving on the marketplace, State Insurance Company has revealed all government buildings in the country are uninsured in breach of insurance laws. Managing Director Stephen Odru says some private commercial property owners have also failed to adhere to the law. He says the situation puts occupants and others who transact business in such facilities at risk in the event of disaster. Nana Yao Jemfi reports.
The National Insurance Act, Act 742 of 2006, mandates all commercial building owners to insure such property. It reads, every commercial building shall be insured against hazards of collapse, fire, earthquake, storm and flood, as well as the legal liabilities of an owner or occupier of premises. In respect of loss of or damage to property, bodily injury, or death suffered by any user of the premises and third parties. However, since its inception, little has been done with regard to enforcement. Mr. Odru wants government to institute action on the matter.
To me, it's appalling. It's the state that must enforce it. That push, for example, if you take a mortgage, the bank will force you to buy home insurance. That will protect their investment in the house. Not until you finish paying the mortgage, the house doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the bank. So if the bank can enforce it, how come the state can't enforce their own laws for commercial buildings to be insured? So it's the state.
Meanwhile, insurance companies are prioritizing public education to encourage property owners to undertake home insurance. Mr. Odru again.
I cannot go and enforce it. All that I can do is go and convince them that these are the reasons why you should insure your commercial buildings. None of the government buildings are insured. Yes. None of the, I'm telling you, most government vehicles are not insured. I'm telling you as a fact. We are trying to sensitize them as to why they should do it.
Nana Yaujima reporting.
Now it's finally here, the Maiden Joy FM Corporate Jam, an event set to offer an opportunity for networking and some bonding between multimedia family and the business community. So finish that report, shut down that computer, and join us this evening at the Soho Bar at Marina Mall at Airport for this engagement. Well, let's hear from some staff of SIC and First National Bank who just cannot wait for tonight's program.
It's going to be a stress reliever, you know. We're going to come in our numbers. We're going to make it a party that no one has seen before. You should expect more from First National Bank, you know. We have everything that you need, so don't worry. Just expect us there.
Do you have any favorite songs like you're expecting to, you know?
You know, there are a couple of new songs, but I wouldn't want to go into that now. Just wait to see me there that day, and then you see the FMB side of me. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be
some moonwalk like that.
Oh, more than moonwalk, man.
We've been working for the whole week, so we expect an action-packed day. We're there to let loose, take our tie off, and just spoil the place. That day we shaku and everything. So yeah, we're there for you.
You know, we have other corporate bodies coming. Yesterday we spoke to Glyco. They are saying that we should watch out for the floor. I don't know what you want to tell them though, because it looks like they mean the same.
All I can tell you that FMB, First National Bank Ghana, we always bring the party. That's all I can tell you. Just wait on it. We are there to chill and chill well.
All right. I dance to any danceable music. Yes. Anything that is danceable, just see me on the floor.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Then this Friday is, I don't know.
Trust me, you're going to enjoy Glyco.
This is Mrs. Angela Asante. She's the national sales head for Glyco General, and she just told me that you have to sing for her, Angela, before she speaks.
Oh, that's my favorite.
So you have to sing the chorus before. She's a very.
I think I can try with the chorus and see what. You to give me joy, Angela.
I personally think they actually, Kwame Eugene did it for me. Because, yes, indeed, I like the hip life fighters now. Yeah, Kwame Eugene, Kido, I like all of them, actually. And so, to talk of this stress.
One of your favorite songs, what? Freedom. Shut up.
Oh, yeah. It's the shortest song, and I love it. I guess it's the only song I can sing from beginning to end. Because it's only 2 words.
You're gonna sing for us.
Oh no, actually no.
No,
not today. No.
You're gonna sing, and I'm gonna dance.
Ah, the voice.
About the voice, we leave it for them. We are just, lovers of the song. So just do something great.
Freedom. My name is Shatawale. That's my best.
All right, so those were some staff of SIC and First National Bank sharing their expectations for tonight's corporate jam. Don't miss out because it's going to be so much fun. And that'll be it for this afternoon's edition of the Marketplace. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Viafe. Have a great weekend.